What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you're having a fantastic day. So as you know, a new season in Call of Duty Mobile Season 5 just got released, and alongside it a new assault rifle, the CR56, also dropped, and I've been having a lot of fun using it. I've been grinding it, and after using it for a while, I would consider it the upgraded version of the AK-117. Now, as you know, they're both assault rifles with a very fast fire rate. They're both very accurate, and they also have good kill time. So this is a very strong and fun weapon to use. And in today's video, I will be bringing you a gunsmith for this weapon and explaining you why I'm using certain attachments on it. And then we'll go in game. I actually just dropped a nuke gameplay in ranked on my channel, so I'm going to be taking some of that gameplay and kind of explaining what I'm thinking when I'm using this weapon. But before we do that, I would love to thank the Call of Duty Mobile team for inviting me onto their official YouTube channel to bring you this information. It's amazing. I have so much fun every single time I pop up on here. If you guys have not yet, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into it. So I have our CR56 AMAX gunsmith open right here, and the first thing I want to touch on is its damage. It has 40 damage, which seems a little bit on the lower side, but when you take a look at the fire rate, it kind of makes sense. It increases its kill time a lot. 70 fire rate is really good for an assault rifle, but at the end of the day, it is still an assault rifle, so you're going to lose close range fights against an SMG. Obviously, they just have better mobility at close range, faster kill time, but at medium and distance is going to be really dominant. And taking that into account, I really want to talk about our first attachment here. We actually have the monolithic suppressor, and I love suppressors on assault rifles because, like I said earlier, you're going to lose close range gunfights. So if you do take a close range gunfight and you get that kill, the enemies aren't going to know exactly where you killed them from, since you have a suppressor, so they won't be able to rush you. Mono suppressor also gives you 25% damage range, which is really big, especially on a weapon where you want to just shoot people across the map with. So it's just an attachment that really benefits most assault rifles. The second one we're going to talk about is the MIP Custom Along, and this is also for accuracy. This gun does have a little bit more spread than the average assault rifle, which means when you're aimed down sights, you see an enemy and you shoot at them, your bullets are going to kind of spread out a little bit more than they would on a different rifle, and this really helps with that. It also helps with horizontal recoil and vertical recoil, so it's just going to make it into a laser beam pretty much. And then the third attachment here is no stock, because we need a little bit of mobility, and this is probably the best mobility attachment for a bunch of different weapons. No stock just really helps you move around the map and rotate faster. And the next attachment is very important on the AMAX. It's actually the extended mag A. Like we talked about a couple minutes ago, the AMAX has a fire rate of 71, so that means you're going to be running through your ammo very fast, and you really need extended mag, especially if you see 2 or more enemies. It's just going to make sure you don't run out of ammo when you're actually shooting at them, because that's just the worst, reloading in front of someone. Most of the time you're probably going to die doing that. Next attachment is the OWC laser. Probably 75% of the class setups in the game actually run this, because it has almost zero downside. The only downside is the enemies can barely see your laser sight, but most of the time they don't even, and it gives you really good ADS spread, and it also increases your ADS time, which is important on an assault rifle. So that's it for the class setup. Now we're going to get into the gameplay. I'm just going to kind of talk behind it and explain what I'm doing and what I'm thinking in the moment. So let's hop into that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I have the gameplay that I was about to show you guys. And the first thing I want to talk about here when we go over this is how to win close range gunfights, because obviously that's the hardest thing to do when you're using an assault rifle. They're not designed for that, but there is ways to do that, and there is ways to stay alive. So let me go over that right now. Especially for this assault rifle, this actually has pretty good hip fire, so that's one thing that's going to benefit you. So one thing that you are going to see me do very often is pre-aim around corners where I think enemies are going to be. When I slid through there, I pre-aimed. I also pre-aimed that gunfight right there. If I didn't do that, I probably would have actually lost. Pre-aiming like that allows you to get the first shot in on the gunfight, and when you're facing a gun that kills faster at close range, you want to make sure you get 1 or 2 shots before they can even line up their crosshairs on you. Do this at common angles, or if you have a UAV in the air, look at your radar and try to figure out where they're at. Also look at where your teammates are situated, because wherever your teammates are, there obviously probably isn't going to be enemies. So as you're seeing, I am pre-aiming literally almost every single corner that I peek around, especially on this map since it's such a small map. I really need to do this, and because dead silence is not as overpowered anymore, you're able to hear most footsteps. So whenever you hear someone, pre-aim around the area that you think you hear them, and it's just going to help you win way more gunfights, especially when you're using an assault rifle like this one. And right here on the map, you can see there's 4 red dots, so I know they're all around me. I know they're not down here, and I know they're all top because I'm sitting right here. This is cutting off one whole choke point of the map, and the hard point's right here. So when they push in, they're going to be looking at the hard point because that's where they expect enemies to be at, or they're going to look straight to my right. So there's really only two places they should be looking at. No one really checks this corner in respawn matches, so this is really good. I'm going to catch them off guard, and since I know where they're at, I expect them not to actually rush through here. I expect them to jump down from the top here. So I'm going to rotate and switch to this corner. So when you're in a sticky situation like this, don't just rush the enemies. Make sure you play smart and watch your radar. And as you're going to see, this actually gets me a couple kills just looking at my radar, and they're not even going to check this corner because they're so focused on the hard point. And as you can see, I also pre-aim right there. And I briefly think I should mention, always reload when you don't think there's any enemies, and make sure that you're in cover, especially with this gun, because we're using extended mag, so it takes a little bit longer to reload. So make sure you're safe when you're reloading. And as you can see right here, I'm going to try to position myself in angles where I'm kind of peeking away from the enemy. They're not that close to me. And before I peek a close angle like that, I make sure I just jiggle it a little bit to check if there's an enemy there. And I'm trying not to play anywhere super close. And right here, I actually almost died because this guy had an SMG, obviously, and he almost wins that gunfight. Right here, another great example of map positioning. It is an assault rifle, so you're going to be trying to sit behind boxes like this. Just make sure you have cover when you're taking your fights. And I'm playing around the outside of the map, as you can see right here. Now I know where they're going to be spawning. I'm looking at the map. I'm seeing my team spawning in the opposite direction, so they're probably going to be in front of me. So I'm playing these really long range gunfights, which are actually kind of hard to do on this map because it's so close quarters. But I mean, the more you learn the maps, the more you'll know where to play with each weapon. If I had an SMG, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. So when it comes down to it, there's 3 key points. It's map positioning, pre-aiming your corners, making sure that you're taking the correct gunfights. If you think they're too close to you, back up and make some space. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something and you enjoy the class setup. Again, thank you to the COD Mobile team for inviting me to their player content series. I hope you did enjoy. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and I'll see you guys later.